Okay, guys, Barn Geek here. One of the questions that we get a lot is, can I get more? How do I get more clearance out of the, you know, out of these barns? How do I get more height on the lower level? How do I get more height on the upper level? So, more than what they have drawn or what there is drawn here, um, and so we're going to go over how to do that, and it's really quite simple. Um, So here's the 30 by 30 gambrel that is as it's drawn. Let's see how the clearance is in this barn, in the lower level. Oh, let's see here. And all of these barns have uh, all of these barns have 3D models available. So you can open up this 3D model and manipulate it however you want. Within reason. If you go too far beyond the bounds of the original design, you might have some engineering issues, and you'll want to take the model at least to an architect or engineer that can answer any questions as far as, is this too long of a post, or that type of thing. But I'm going to give you some general rules today that you can follow that should help you get at least a 14-foot clearance on the inside. So this barn has standard a 9-foot lower level clearance. Okay. And on the in the loft it has a, let's see here, 10-foot 5-inch standard clearance. So it's really quite spacious in the loft. I don't see um, you know, needing to have that larger at all, but just in case, we'll go over that as well. You can add a maximum to any of our plans of 2 feet to this post right here between the tie beam and the rafter. So what I mean by that is, let's go over to the vent just so that it's easier to show you. So let's open up the vent, and we're going to highlight these members that we want to make 2 feet taller, including the plates. Okay, so let's just make this whole thing a group. Okay. You don't need to be able to draw this. I'm just doing this as a demonstration. So you want to lift the whole thing up, if it will cooperate with me. Lift the whole thing up by 2 feet. Okay. Let's delete that original one. Okay, so now you've got the entire upper section of the loft lifted by 2 feet. This would give you a 12-foot clearance to this beam. That's a lot. So, but anyway, so you can take this post, highlight it, and we're just going to stretch this thing out and make it 2 foot longer this way. Okay. So all you've really done is you've made this post 2 feet longer than it was, and then basically left this beam at the same place in relation to the bottom of the post. Okay. So this is fairly easy to do, something that can be done without really modifying the plans um, too much. So, and then of course you're adding 2 feet to these queen posts as well. So your materials list would change. You would add 2 feet to the correct posts, and then so there you go. You've got a taller loft area. Now let's say you want to make you want to have more clearance in the lower level. that's pretty simple as well. It's actually even more simple. All you got to do here, you don't have to lift anything. Just open up this post and add 2 feet. 2 feet. That'll give you an 11-foot clearance. Add 2 more foot. Whoops. Add 2 more feet. That'll give you a 13-foot clearance. Let's say you don't want to go, okay, so you've got a 13-foot clearance with this post. Let's measure how long this post became after we stretched it out basically to the max. Let's go up to this point here, because you really don't want to, you want to try to avoid getting beams that are longer than 20 feet. And the reason that is, it's difficult to find them. Most of your standard sawmills only cut 20-foot length, the portable Wood-Mizer type sawmills. Right now we're at 18'7", so we're in good shape. We could add another 1.5 feet to this beam, to this post. So you've got options there. You could have a 14-foot clearance on this barn. Once you get to this point, your main posts on the outside are going to need to be at least 6 by 8. If they're not 6 by 8 already, you may even want to bump them up to 6 by 10, which again is really simple to do. Especially if there's a lot more additional up here, because you're going to have a lot of stress pushing on the top of this post from this roof beam support. So it's going to want to deflect that post out a little bit. So you want to have more depth here in order to accomplish that. And this barn in particular does have 6 by 6s. So what I would do then at this point is I would increase the depth of this beam, of this post, by 2 inches, and maybe even 2 more, just to be safe, because then you've got you've got enough material there to resist that stress. Okay. So then, of course, these plates would have to move in order to be centered, and then the tie beam would be shortened, and all of that, and then the knee brace would be moved in as well. So there's options there with just some small tweaks to any of our barn plans. You can make them, have a larger clearance, or a taller clearance in either the loft or the first level. Then, of course, you don't want to forget to stretch these door posts out, these secondary support posts out to match that other posts. Now what you end up with here is we've got a gambrel barn, 30 by 30, that has a 13-foot clearance in the lower level and a 12-foot clearance in the upper level, which is pretty impressive. Now, say you don't want to make the whole barn taller, but you do want to get a little bit of extra clearance in here. Say you've got a zoning restriction and you don't want to make the entire barn 4 feet taller. What you can do is move this beam up or down in relation to whatever you give up in your loft to gain space, to gain height in your lower level. You're just going to have to decide which one do you want to give up. Do you want to give up loft space, or do you want to give up lower level space? But in order to do that, it's just as simple as grabbing this beam and all the related components that make up this let's group these items together. Okay, if you're following along in SketchUp, that'll be helpful for you. And then use the move tool, and then move this beam up in all of its components. Say you want an extra foot, you go up a foot, type in 1 foot and enter, and you've got that clearance, that extra foot of clearance. So now we've got 14 foot of clearance in the lower level and 11 foot of clearance in the upper. So, but it's a trade-off. So, and then you can do this with any barn. You can play around with these dimensions, the way they're designed. Looks like this one didn't move up like it was supposed to. Easy enough to do, just grab it, move it up, shift to lock the blue axis, line it up with its neighbor. There we go. And then of course you want to move these knee braces out because of the depth increase of our post. Simple as that. Move these out with a move tool. Okay. And then same thing with these queen posts. We're gonna use the pull tool and push those up there. And let's fix this tie beam here. Shorten it to where it needs to be. Push pull and bring it in. There we go. Now you see this T-plate here. Of course, this is the old style T-plate. We have a new T-plate that has a longer stem, but even this one would work. We just got to move it in so that it is in the correct location. About an inch from the inside face of the beam here. So okay. And of course you would move this bracket as well so that it's more centered. And there you go. You've got an expanded, let's stretch these posts out to where they need to be. And then at this point, you're going to have to generate a new materials list based on your new dimensions here. So, and that's going to be up to you. You'll have to generate that on your own, but it's really simple to do. You can take an individual bent and just inventory all the members that are on that. Use the shape measure tool in SketchUp and just measure everything. Measure, of course, these beams aren't going to change. Only the ones that you did change. So this queen post is now 11 foot long. These door posts are now 14 foot long. These main posts here are now almost 19 foot long. So anyway, I hope that helps them answer some questions for you guys, and I hope you like this video. If you do, click the thumbs up. If you're not a member of the Barn Plans Library already, none of this probably made much sense to you, but this gives you an idea of what you can do with the designs of the barns that are in the Barn Plans Library, that you can manipulate them according to what you need. So at any rate, I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye.